Right, first of all, let's talk Adrian. Thoughts on Jordan Rhodes going back to Huddersfield? So Jordan Rhodes has signed a 3-year deal. Goodness me, I think he's only 31. He seems to have been around for about 100 years, Jordan Rhodes. Obviously, I get a little bit twitchy and uncomfortable even talking about Jordan Rhodes because you can see that scarf up there. Ipswich obviously had Jordan Rhodes, sold him to Huddersfield under the Roy Keane manager era for like 200 grand or something. And he literally scored 100 goals for Huddersfield. And then he was really the go-to guy in the Championship, wasn't he? He'd gone to Blackburn. Possibly it was Steve King still Blackburn. I can't quite remember. But an expensive Championship striker, Rhodes, at Blackburn. And he just scored tons and tons of goals. He was the guy. And then it's all got a bit lost since then, hasn't it? Because he went to Middlesbrough. And that was going to be the final piece in the Middlesbrough promotion jigsaw that particular season. And that didn't really work. And then we get this huge gamble by Mr. Chansiri at Sheffield Wednesday, where we think, God knows what the numbers are totally, but we think, I don't know, 8 million quid, 10 million quid to sign. Huge contract, a couple of million quid a year pay as well. And like, sadly, most things at Sheffield Wednesday, it just hasn't worked for Rhodes. And I don't know whether it's him in decline or whether they didn't play to his strengths like other clubs did. What you do know about Jordan Rhodes is even at 31 or whatever age he is, if you get the ball in the box and he's in between the posts, he will still score goals. He does strike me as somebody who maybe does not necessarily work in the current 4-2-3-1 where you get one striker and midfielders or inverted forwards in a 4-3-3. Does kind of feel like he needs someone up there with him and he needs to just be there to take the chances. He did have a year on loan at Norwich, didn't he? But that was the year that Teemu Pukki scored 29 goals. And I suspect the idea was that Jordan Rhodes was going to score all those goals. But then Teemu Pukki did it and was far more suited to the way Norwich wanted to play and running in behind than Jordan Rhodes would have been. So, look, the contract's run down for Rhodes and he has to get out of Wednesday, doesn't he? Or rather, Wednesday have to get him out if we do think the £40,000 per week rumours were there. And, I mean, God bless him. You would sit on that contract too, wouldn't you? He's likely now to never make that money again. So it's understandable that he sort of stayed there. I think a few Wednesday fans are pretty indifferent to him for those reasons. But my argument is, look, if you as a club are going to offer that contract and the player signs it, then that's on you, really. If there's no get-outs or, you can't move him on, then what are you going to do? That's just business, isn't it? So back to Huddersfield he goes now. Huddersfield, obviously, in year 2 now under Carlos Corberán. One thing I am thinking, and this came up on Twitter today when I retweeted the sale that happened or the move that happened, is that Corberán very much played, one central striker and 2 off him. I think Josh Koroma was good in those positions, sort of a Dwayne Holmes as well, Isaac and Benza. Fraser Campbell sometimes played in the central position. But, yeah, you do wonder, is it a sentimental signing the player who scored loads of goals for a club going back in? I don't know. Let me know in the comments how you think Rhodes will do. Surprised it's for 3 years, but he should feel at home at Huddersfield, where he was very good. Are you going to get the Jordan Rhodes that was at Huddersfield last time? No, he's much older. There's water under the bridge now. Are you going to get a striker there who's good around the place, adds a bit of experience, can work with maybe some younger players? If that's the role and the deal is, desirable, and Jordan Rhodes and his agent has maybe accepted that they're never going to get a fortune, and maybe that's why they've signed for 3 years. That they've got the wage down sufficiently that they can offer the 3-year deal. So yeah, interesting one. Let's have a look if you've got any comments on Jordan Rhodes here. Jez, Jordan Rhodes is a Sheffield lad and a Wednesday. I don't think he was just milking us, Ben says. Jess, yeah. Andy Rhodes, his dad worked for Ipswich as well. Was there an Oldham link there? It's a Gareth Bale to Spurs type signing. Rhodes, that's a interesting one, isn't it? Rhodes is a bit similar to Hogan at Birmingham, I take it Jay's saying. Needing support up top. Windass and Patterson to play alongside. Wasn't Rhodes on something like 40 grand a week? One Wednesday podcast was saying that's just mental for me. Can't play up top on his own. Needs a Duke type punt. There you go. Could have gone into Birmingham there. So yeah, that would be my thoughts on Jordan Rhodes.